Back in January, Carolyn Weiss, wave over Carolyn, she had a function down in Peabody, and Senator Brown was the guest speaker, and I had never heard Senator Brown speak before. I went down there, I was invited, and just socializing, and all of a sudden he started to speak, and I was like, wow, this guy really tells it like it is. You know, rearing a politician, I hate to say, but he really touched me with the stories that he told, and I said, you know, this is somebody who really has a story to tell. And when we made the short list of who we'd like to come to Newburyport, he was on the top of that short list. So I'm so thrilled that he took the time to come out and speak to us. He's obviously a local boy. His dad lives on Plum Island, and I'm going to leave the floor to you. Thank you.
I think we're all Republicans here as well. And the reason I whispered is because that's what a lot of folks want us to do. They want us to whisper the fact that we're Republicans. We have to kind of hide when we're at work. It's like the smokers when they go outside. Pretty soon it's going to be not only criminal to smoke, but also criminal to say that you're a Republican. And I say it with pride, and some of you may have heard, you know, my general introduction, and then I'll go off and talk a little bit about some of the things that are happening, separating fact from fiction. But, you know, don't forget who we are and where we come from. I think it's very important. We all have roots. And what are our roots? Well, we are the party that ended slavery with Abraham Lincoln, obviously. We are also the party that helped get women the right to vote, obviously. That's a very important part of our history. We're also the party that fought to end the Cold War and get rid of the Iron Curtain under President Reagan and his efforts. We're also the party that works very, very hard on a daily basis to make sure that there's good government and that there's checks and balance and there's accountability. And we're not of the party that has had 3 speakers that have been indicted. Right? We're also not of the party of senators either doodling women up in this part of the woods or putting money down their shirts. Right? We're also the party, not the party that has had many representatives either jailed or indicted. So we're a party of good government. We're a party of hard-working men and women throughout this state, and quite frankly, I wish there were more of them. There's only 5 senators out of 40 who are Republican. 5. There's 16 out of 160 representatives. 16. What does that tell you? That tells you that there's clearly a breakdown. Clearly there's not a balance up there. And what happens as a result of that? Well, there becomes a sense of entitlement, a lack of wanting to do the right thing sometimes. And you can basically get away with almost anything because, don't worry, the Republicans can't do anything and the people don't care. They don't care. That's what the mentality is, or I should say, let me step back a minute, has been throughout Massachusetts. And if you still believe that, I brought a box here. I've been passing out pens and nail files. If you didn't get one, please take them. There's a bumper sticker up here. There's a kind of a little accolade thing that the Globe, I brought it because I didn't think that anyone would believe the Globe would do anything nice to me. They actually wrote a halfway decent story. So, but I have a box here, and when it's empty, just take your wallets and put it in there. Okay? Because the way things are right now, I might as well just bring them up, and I go by the governor's office almost every day. I'll leave it right outside with a note saying this is from the the citizens of the Newburyport and Newbury and Amesbury city and town committees, and they want you to spend their money because that's what's happening up there. There's absolutely no check and balance, none. And thank God that we have a band of brothers in the Senate of 5 people, led quite frankly by Senator Tarr, who is your senator. He is my mentor. Senator Tassay, who's our minority leader out of the Reading-Wakefield area. And then there's Senator Hedlund and Senator Knappich and me. And I would put our 5 against any 10 or 15 of the other majority party folks to fight for the things that are important in Massachusetts. And let me just give you an example. The pension reform bill that we did, you know, a majority of those things I've been fighting for 11 years, and my colleagues who are Republican colleagues have been fighting much longer to get this pension reform. Senator Tarr is not here right now because he's working on ethics reform. We don't need ethics reform. Come on. He's doing ethics reform, otherwise he would be here. I spoke to him about a half an hour ago. And we've also done transportation reform, the 3 biggies. Now those are things that are very important because let's separate fact from fiction here. But not for the economic meltdown worldwide, nationally, and locally. But not for the few examples that I set out earlier about the 2 senators and the speakers. And but not for a lot of the transportation and infrastructure and abuses that you hear about in the Mass Turnpike, the Mass Highway, and other, you know, transportation entities. We wouldn't be doing any of this reform right now. We would be doing nothing, and it would be business as usual. And what does that mean for ordinary citizens? It means that you will continue to pay higher and higher taxes, and the cost of living in Massachusetts will be higher and higher. Let me give you an example. When the governor signs that budget, the average person is going to pay almost $1,000 more a year to live here because we've increased the. I just got my cases of beer, by the way, up in New Hampshire. That's my dad. I had like 4 cases in the truck this week. Got them in New Hampshire, you know, because the beer tax is going up. All right, we've got the sales taxes going up. Right, 6.25%. There's an optional meals tax, so 1.25 is going to go right to the state. 0.75 is optional for the cities or towns. You're going to talk about, God, let's pick another tax. So we have the beer, we've got the meals, soft drinks, yep. Satellite, thank you. So all air. That's next. That's next. But you know, you have obviously they already did the tobacco. They did the tobacco sales increase. Everything is going up. Now the other proposals and the things that are coming around the corner are the tolls, the gas tax, a chip in your car, and your registration and tax you on mileage. And the big one, what's the big one? Income. The big one is the income tax. Yes, that's coming around the corner. Because right now, because there's no check and balance, absolutely no check and balance, there's been a tremendous amount of overspending over the past 10 years. Bring it down to more recently, and I have a couple of questions, and I have some gifts here. I was in Wellesley at the Military Family Services Center opening, and I picked up some nice pins here, and I have a couple of questions. Let me ask you a question. And I try to be fair. I don't try to be partisan and beat up on the governor and the majority party too often. Unless they deserve it. But let's be fair right here. Okay, let's be fair. Take the last 2 Romney budgets, the last 2 Patrick budgets, about 2,000 vetoes, give or take a few. How many vetoes do you think were actually sustained? Raise your hand. How many were sustained? Come on.
0.
Who said 0?
Everybody.
0.
Get a lot of pins?
Well, you're close. It's 1. But I'll give this to you anyway. Now, but that one was not a money veto. Now, let me ask you another question. Out of all those vetoes, how many reps or senators in the majority party voted to sustain? That means they agree with that veto. They agree it was a bad idea. With 2 Governor Romney, 2 Governor Patrick, bipartisan, how many of the majority party do you think actually voted to support those vetoes? Raise your hand. Just raise your hand, somebody. Come on. Ma'am, you, yes. All of them? All of them? So you're saying all of the Democrats supported those vetoes? No, you're wrong. Carolyn?
I've heard your speech before, so
It's cheating, yes, you.
Oh, 35 to 40.
35 to 40. Boy, you guys are very cold. How about 1? 1 Democrat supported 1 veto for either governor. Now, I supported Governor Romney about 62% of the time, and Governor Patrick about 67% of the time, because you can't tell me that one governor, whether they be Democrat or Republican, hasn't had one good idea to save $1 for you. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that Governor Romney, who, you know,